started before I was ready. I wonder if the Sass Master's here. Nah. I got the Sass Master hooked on Mahjong Quest. Friends, I don't know if we're ever going to see the Sass Master again. Poor Sassy. She didn't even know. Didn't even know what hit her till it did. Wait, I didn't ask for music. There we go. I still hear it though. There we go. Alright. So, update. I found an anthology of spooky stories with birds in them. If y'all want that. I'm also down to chill tonight. Like, I'm cool with just doing an inscription, honestly. Just so that you all know, well, for those of you who watch the VOD, there won't be any streams until a week from today, because I am going to be away. Work shit. I gotta do some training out of the county, and I won't have my streaming PC, so that ain't gonna happen. But that's alright. Y'all know I always come back. Regular old William Afton up here. Yeah, many have tried, none have succeeded in getting rid of me, so y'all be stuck with me when I come back. But enjoy the week-long reprieve. You can. Because Lord knows it won't last. Oh my god, why am I destroying everything? Quit. Quit it. Why can't you just be normal? There. Okay. Ah. Yo, Thunder Kitty, what's up? Yeah, we're just waiting for a couple more people to come in. See if they have any requests for Spooky Story Night. Fucking Spooks! Yo, Sassy, so I've been peeking your Steam or the Discord. Did I get somebody a wee bit addicted to Mahjong? If so, I apologize. I should have warned people of the addictive nature of Mahjong, but given that it's been, like, the game I've played pretty much 50% of the time, yo, Chaos. I don't want to talk about it. It's okay, Sassy. We understand. You're with friends here. So are you doing the story mode or the competition mode? First step to admitting it. You among friends? Yeah. It brings me a strange satisfaction to see somebody else playing it, though, I will say that. Wolfie being a bad influence again cries, I'm so proud, right? I'm a terrible influence. I literally have a satanic symbol as my wall screen that pops up every time the game doesn't capture. You downloaded it finally, and then I saw my brother on the list too. I was just like, fucking nerd! We exist. I wonder if I've beaten him. I wonder if he's beaten me. That might be the better question. Story mode? Story mode's pretty good. I streamed story mode. Way back when. I'm still streaming the story mode for the third game. I just haven't finished it. Mild influence, you want terrible? You don't talk about it. Something tells me that, you might be behind the banjos, Chaos. You're definitely not in Wolfie's level. No, I'm wondering if your brother is. But yeah, story mode is actually really fun. You doing the first one or the second one? Or the third one? Did you get the collection? Do they sell it as singular anymore? I don't know. It's been like years since I bought the game. Let me check. Let me do some quick research up in this bitch. Steam. I'm assuming you got it from Steam. Sign in. Fuck you. Collection. Okay, yeah, so you have all three then. You started with one. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. If you would like, I won't finish the third one until you've played through it, so you don't have spoilers. I can do that for you. Oh, I'm so proud. I've converted a Mahjong quester. It only took me 5 years of streaming. I'm an influencer. Oh god, I want to gag. I mean, you probably would have got it without me regardless, but... Oh, I'm such an asshole. Oh. You'd never thought you'd need a spoiler alert on Mahjong? I mean, it's got some twists. Like, I don't know, all of the stories are really unique. Like, oh, I just want you to discover it and, like, have fun. You know what I'm saying? This is just, you know. Oh, I don't want to spoil. I mean, it is Mahjong. The games did come out forever ago. That doesn't matter. So far, so good. Ayy. Well, most of the time... There's a game called Cat Calls Fishing? Oh, wait, I knew about this. Wait, I knew about that. We're fine. I wanted to see if Potion Craft was on sale. Ah, nah. Shit. I have seen Cult of the Lamb. Is it good? Do y'all want me to play it? How expensive is it? I don't know. I can't reach the frickin' search bar. Now I'm just scrolling through Steam, which is always a mistake. That's how we get backlogs. You bought that one today, and I think I'm gonna get Potion Permit with the next check. Haven't decided if you want PC or Switch. Potion Permit? That one I've not heard of. Potion Craft I really liked. Cult, Cuteness, and Murder. I feel like Chaos. I feel like Chaos is Chaos. English, please. Stardew-esque is what I've been told. Huh. No, you didn't do anything. I forgot how to fucking talk. Cult of the Lamb seems like it would, ping on your radar. There we go. God, that wasn't so hard. Oh, here we go. Cult of the Lamb. Hey. 24. Oof. Okay. Already own it. It's on the backlog, isn't it? Yeah, okay, here we go. Yeah, alright. Yeah, get to that one and I'll keep going on my list too. You recruit other cute animals to your cult and harvest stuff for you, then you sacrifice them? Oh, so it's like Inscription, but cute. Okay, here we go. Potion Permit. But why won't you let me click on it? Potion Permit on Steam. When various residents need healing and you're the best chemist. With your trusty tools... Brewing Cauldron and a canine companion. Oh, there's a canine companion? We have a Satan. You'll need to diagnose symptoms, gather... Oh, fuck, yep. Alright, yep, adding to wish list. Fuck. Alright, yeah. This looks like a Stardew-esque sort of game. It literally released yesterday. What the hell? Wait, how much money? 20. Oh, no. Alright, yeah. That's waiting for a sale. You do need to finish Yoko Taro's D&D campaign, yes. Yes, you do. And I need to finish Nier Automata. Sold, right? I'm not sure what you mean. Insider info for my friend who played it immediately upon release. Ooh. They'll come on sale with autumn and holidays coming. Oh, yeah. I'm just, like, adding to wishlist feverishly. I still have a backlog. I still need to finish Replicant. Wait, Chaos, riddle me this. Do I really have to play the entire latter half of Nier Automata? Nier Replicant again to get the other endings? Like, how long is this gonna take me? Should I start doubling up on games? Adding to the wishlist, you say? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, I have made a mistake. I have made a mistake. I can't deny saying it because I'm on a VOD. Yeah, I added it to the wish list. But, like, don't worry. It's okay. It's about a few months. Months. Oh, jeez. Okay. If that's the case, when I get back, I might start doubling up on games just so that I, like, get to things. To get rid of VODs, just play copyright music during the parts you want to talk about and become silence. Oh. Thunder Kitty. I mean, I guess I could do that. It would take some work, though, because I have it rigged so that I can listen to copyright music while I'm streaming, but y'all can't hear it, so it doesn't get silenced. Alright, yeah, that's good to know. I do intend to finish it. I just also want to get to the games that y'all are looking forward to as well. But yeah. I'm trying to speed run through the, like, last bits of it as much as I can. Because it seems, like, repetitive. That might be a mistake. Like, there's a reason it's having us go through it all again. But yeah, now that the whole gang is here, I've got a couple of announcements. I'm not going to be streaming this week because I'm going to be out of town on work shit. I've got to go do bird training. Well, I elected to do it because I want to improve. So no streams until probably the next spooky stream because I'm getting home Friday night. I don't know if I'm going to have the energy to stream Spooks, or I might just hop on the computer and play Mahjong. I don't know. But I'll do my best. I'm finally gonna teach Big Bird a lesson on this road trip. Big Bird's probably gonna teach me a lesson. Not gonna lie. So yeah. I'll be away, but I'll be back soon. I'll probably stream tomorrow. I might have y'all decide. Probably more near, because I only streamed it 45 minutes yesterday. Thanks for the heads up. Not a problem. In the meantime, surely you know about the Archive channel. The Archive channel is the YouTube channel that if you have a dying addiction for my fucking voice... Why? There's hours and hours and hours of footage of me playing Mahjong. Among other things. So, if you're hankering for company and you miss Wolfie, I'll be back. But in the meantime, you can have past Wolfie, who might be slightly lamer. But don't worry, that's only because you don't remember how lame the current one is. Or you want to watch Wolfie lose their minds, yeah. If you want to see sleep-deprived Wolfie, just turn on any stream in 2018. Oof, that's dark. Anyway, so that'll be happening. But I will be back and I will be streaming when I get back. I'll miss y'all. I'll miss y'all till then, but I will be back. There's a small chance that I'll be on Auxie's podcast as I drive back home. It's a 7-hour drive. So I might be calling in from the road in but fuck nowhere, New York. But hey, that's just maybes. In the meantime, though, I'm still here. I will probably stream tomorrow. Tonight, though, what do you want me to read? I found an anthology full of... Oh, Chaos is posted. Here we go. Luck of the draw. How many games have I finished, by the way? Just Automata and Dust? No. No. Automata, Dust, Okami, Hotline Miami 1, Hotline Miami 2, Bastion. I played Hitman, but I didn't finish it. A lot of Red Dead, but didn't finish it. Cyberpunk, didn't finish that. Gree, Skull, Dust. Shit. Tried to do Fury, didn't finish that. Nier Automata. I feel like I'm forgetting. Detention, Devotion. Amnesia. A lot of my past is Mahjong. That Asian fighting game, yes. Oh god, what is it called? Oh, it's so good. What is it called? Blades of Fury. No, instead of Shantae, Hades needs to be next. Ooh. Yeah. Wolfie played Amnesia. One of my best clips is from Amnesia. Hold up. Hold on. Hold on. Where are my clips? What the fuck? I don't have a clips thing? Fuck off with that shit. Videos, yes. Diddle diddle do. Okay. So, top all. Come on. It's here somewhere. Okay, here we go. This is one of my favorite clips of all time. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Let's see. You tried? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've played it. I'm trying to remember when I played it. Oh, I finished Dishonored. Wait, so Chaos, you want me to play Hades next instead of Shantae? Is that official? I'm so bad at those kinds of games. That's official? Alright. Oh man, I'll try. It's not hard? Okay. Because I remember I struggled with Bastion. Is Bastion difficult? Ah, fuck. We'll see, Chaos. We'll see. I gotta think that one over. If you would rather see me struggle on Hades than go on straight to Shantae, then I can do it. But it might be hard to watch. You bought it for me, so I can do it. How long is Hades? Depends on the build. You get random powers every run. Ah, okay. And I'm sure you'll help me out. um, but yeah, I. What I could do is I could finish Nier, and then run Shantae and Hades simultaneously. Because Nier is really the only, like, massive, like, 80-hour game on the list right now that I'm aware of. Still want to get Cyberpunk done at some point, too. Sorry, this became Wolfie thinks about the backlog, the backlog, the stream. Uh, but yeah, like it's up to you. Um, you kind of you kind of you've bought me like more than half my Steam library, so you're the producer. uh, but yeah. Um, yeah, we'll figure it out. In the meantime, though, this is a Chaos original. How about this? Hades or Crystar? Crystar. Four playable characters. See the sorrow of sand. Oh my god, it's. Oh wait, no, I have it already. I died inside when I saw the price. Okay. Tears aren't a sign of weakness but of strength. Well, that's a cool concept. You're not gonna say a game you don't have. Yeah. Alright, yeah, I'll think about it. I'll probably do Hades. Yeah, alright, so. just stay on my ass about that so I don't forget, because Shantae has been, like, the next one for so long that I'm afraid I'm going to forget. But yeah, let's try Hades, and we'll run Hades and Shantae probably simultaneously. Or I'll start double layering Nier and Hades, and then Shantae will replace whichever one I finish first. Unless Potion Craft comes in and fucks it all up. But yeah, this is a Chaos original called Luck of the Draw. And my windows are all fucked up. There we go. This is a deadly game I play. A game where the stakes are life and death. However, even though I know the risks involved, I still play. I'm a veteran at this game. It's actually quite funny I call myself that. I've only played this game 8 times. But I still feel like a veteran at this. Rumor has it, no one's gone past 9 tries. However, with my luck, I'll go on past 9 and make a new record. Hell, I'll probably never lose. Potion Craft doesn't seem very long, and I don't see it throwing a huge wrench, if at all. Yeah, you right. It seems addictive, though. Because I finished Inscription. God damn it. You dared me, and you're like, you've only finished 2 games, and now I'm just listing off every game I've played. Finished Inscription. Yeah. I've probably finished other games, too, but they're escaping me. I finished Stardew with Tenchi. I finished that one that one Chinese Tetris game. God damn. I've been streaming for 5 years, and I don't have a lot to show for it. Oh, I finished Papers, Please. I've played a lot of Mahjong. Why do you guys watch me? Anyway. Hell, I'll probably never lose. Each opponent I've seen approach the table with determination and a cocky attitude has suffered the same fate as the last. I sit down only to be taken away by the crowd of people surrounding us moments later. Tonight's no different. A young 20-something sitting across from me with a crooked smile and as though he's already won. Kid must have taken his mom's car and told the poor woman he was going to a friend's house or some other lie she would believe. Kid was a skinny little bugger. Hell, if he turned sideways, he'd up and disappear. His blonde hair was in a rat's nest like he just rolled out of bed. The AC/DC t-shirt he wore was wrinkled all to hell and had a few holes in it. His baby puke sweatpants made me wonder if this kid was colorblind or if he just didn't care about his appearance in public. I, on the other hand, fixed my tie and unwrinkled the cuff of my suit. I'd usually wear a suit for these games, because if I was going out, I'm going out in style. Also, it helps the funeral director's job. Dead guy already in a suit. Hell, just cover up the damn hole in his head and you're golden. Those were my thoughts in the beginning, but as I continued winning, I felt the suit was more of a lucky charm. Tonight was like any other night, my opponent in the game. However, tonight felt different, like a dark cloud hung over the table. The 6-shooter in the middle of the table glistened in the light that hung just above the table. The spectators were nothing more than shadows. Their outlines made him feel like ghosts watching us. I was a spectator for the first 3 times I came here. The club was very black and white with the people coming in. You're either a spectator or a player. Many of these people watching us now must get off when one of the players bites it. Hell, we all have to get off on this kind of stuff since we're here. However, those watching might just be interested in the prize money. I know that's why I'm here, and not with the shadows watching us. Hell, many of these people are too chicken shit to even utter the word player. It was the prize money that got me to call myself a player. The money I won all 8 times paid for my house, truck that I only drive during the winter, my 1969 S5 El Camino, which I drive the rest of the year, and a bunch of other odds and ends. It also gave me the option to never work again. It usually lasts about 3 months before I need more to live my carefree life. I'm not lazy, mind you. I work out at least an hour every morning. That last month I took a trip to Maine to see the sights. So I'm not some kid who sits on his ass and plays video games 24/7. Now I sit here in this club fixated on the gun in the middle of the table. Each game they give you a different 6-shooter to use. This one seemed a lot bigger than the ones I used before. Looked like it came from an old west on the set of Clint Eastwood Western. Engraved on the side were the initials GR. It could be the initials of the person who owned it or a relative that passed it down to them. The game started as it always did. A referee, usually the balding, fat club owner, flipped a coin. I never understood how he kept people from ratting on him. Turning him in for all the deaths that happened in this might have to do with something. Wait, hold on. I never understood how he kept people from ratting on him. Turning him in for all the deaths that happened in this might have had something to do with the fact that no one wants to admit they watched some poor soul die, and they did nothing to skip it. Could also be something like Fight Club, where no one talks about it. Who knows? All I care about is the prize money. When the owner flipped a coin, we both called it. The kid called it wrong and went first. It was a click after he placed the barrel of the gun to the side of his head. Placed the gun down on the table. I took it in my left hand. Take a deep breath and pull the trigger. Clicks. Place the gun down and wait. I know I'll win. Hell, I won 8 games already. Besides, I've gotten good at predicting how things will pan out. Kid'll pick up the gun, pull the trigger, and boom, win number 9. Usually happens on the 3rd pull of the trigger. But one time it ended on the 1st pull of the trigger. The kid picks up the gun, shakes in his hand. He puts it to the side of his head. Sweat rolls down the side of his face. I keep my excitement inside as I wait. Kid knows it. He's gonna bite it. My luck overpowers him. He'll just be another missing person case in tomorrow's paper. He takes another deep breath, closes his eyes, and that click suspended over the room for seconds, but it felt like an eternity. He took a breath of relief and placed the gun on the table. Even though he didn't bite it, my excitement continued to escalate. The game never went on this long. Even though I had my 1 in 3 shot at biting it, I wasn't afraid. I grabbed the gun and placed it to the right side of my head. I knew my luck would overpower him. I knew I'd win after this. There's no way I was going boom. When I pull the trigger, the bullet races through the chamber. The gunpowder burns my skin, and the bullet enters my skull. races through my brain and leaves through the other end. My head jerks and my body falls to the floor. I stare at the shadows around me. They don't move. In fact, nothing moves. It's almost like the world had come to a halt. Then the kid who bested me stands up. His flesh starts to peel off and fall to the ground. The shadow moves and forms around him until it seems like it's covering him like a cloak. The hooded figure shuffles toward me. And once it's on top of me, it outstretches its bony skeleton hand. I'm surprised I can move, and even more surprised I'm alive. I reach up and take its hand. It gently lifts me up, and when I'm standing tall, it shuffles my way. Before I could leave, it turns to gesture for me to follow. I do. I don't know why I do, but I do. We walk together for what seems like miles. Can't seem to come up with any words to say to the figure. After what feels like an eternity, I finally ask the question that's been floating in my head. How? How am I alive? The figure chuckles at my question after that. The figure chuckles at my question. After that, it slightly turns toward me, and I see the bony skeleton jaw. God, my boy, you've been dead for at least a month. Everything you've experienced thus far has all been purgatory. Now, however, you can ascend to heaven, where your family is waiting for you. The figure explained. I stopped. Stopped dead in my tracks. Couldn't believe what the figure was saying to me. When? How? Why? It seemed the figure knew my next question. It happened after you left for work. You suffered a fatal heart attack on your way home. The figure explained to me. A heart attack? I croaked before I continued. How? I was fit as a whistle. The figure simply shrugged. I'm not sure. I'm just in charge of taking people from purgatory to their final resting place. The figure said as it stood in front of a glowing white door. Finally clicked with me what the initials on the gun had meant. They stood for Grim Reaper. Oh, that was good. GR. Oh, that's clever. Oh, neat. Another Chaos original, guys. Well done. I mean, he did end up winning. He got to go to the good door. How do you know it's the good door? I don't know. He said heaven. I'm assuming that's where he wanted to go. I mean, I'll never know. I'm not going there. I did find, however, an anthology of what I've been told is bird horror stories. But if it's surprise, you don't know if he was a good person in light or bad. That's true. Also, given how he was just like gambling for money to go to Maine, maybe he made some questionable decisions. I'm not sure, actually. Yeah, so this is Dark Avian Tales, an anthology. I haven't looked at this yet. The mathematical inevitability of corvids? This better not be smut. I really hope not. These are long as hell. I'll just start with the one that says, "Oh, terrible bird." Oh, it's a poem. Okay. It's a bad poem. Alright, what's next? The Obscure Bird. 'Twas late. Gwen spent 10 minutes helping Andrew tidy up in the kitchen and put her arms out for a hug and said she was going to bed. "I won't be long," Andrew said as he released her with a kiss. Gwen smiled. "Of course not," she said. It was a ritual. She knew it would be at least an hour, probably 2, maybe more before he joined her. Outside, an owl hooted. Andrew's eyes were dark behind the round lenses of his glasses. Unfathomable. He turned to the sink as she walked toward the door of the hall, where she stopped and looked back at him. With his hands resting on the edge of the basin, he appeared to be staring out the window into the garden, which was cloaked in darkness. She watched him for a moment before turning to go. Gwen lay in bed thinking about Andrew, worrying. She remembered one night earlier in the week when she had got up to go to the bathroom. Andrew's side of the bed had been empty, cold. She'd presumed him to be in his study or downstairs, but when she chanced to look out the bathroom window, she'd seen him standing in the middle of the lawn, his pale, round face upturned, staring at the mature trees at the end of the garden. As she lay in bed, she remembered thinking that the right thing to do would be to go down and speak to him, perhaps gently guide him back into the house as he would a sleepwalker. But she'd done neither. She'd returned to bed and fallen back to sleep. Gwen had awoken in the morning. Andrew had been beside her as normal. She heard him climbing the stairs and reached for the switch to turn off her bedside light. Lying in the darkness, she heard his carefully weighed footsteps approach their bedroom door, stop for a moment, and then continued past. She heard him stop outside the baby's room, where he'd be listening for the sound of Henry's breathing, and then continue down the landing to his own study at the rear of the house. She heard the door click shut and imagined him sitting at his desk, raising the lid of his laptop and then staring alternately at the screen and out the window. She'd stood at his open door one night, watching him divert his attention from one to the other and back again, until he'd caught sight of her reflection in the window and spun around on his chair, blushing. She'd allowed her eyes to drop on his computer screen, but instead of the insult of pornography, she'd seen nothing more unsavory than the boxy iconography common to social networking sites. You know, you really should get more sleep, Gwen murmured in the morning as Andrew brought her a cup of tea. I know, but, you know. What? The professorship thing. I might not get it anyway, but I certainly won't if I don't get these papers done. In the bathroom, Duffy the cat lay on her back on the bath mat, legs extended at either end of her glossy black body. There we go. She looked like a giant skate egg case. These were written by ornithologists. A skate egg case is also what is called a mermaid's purse. It's how sharks, hold their eggs. They're full of, eggs. And they hatch, and the babies come out of the case, I think. They're like these little black, basically, pouches, I guess, that have 2 lines in front and 2 lines in back. But, comparing a stretched out cat to a skate egg case it took me a second to understand what that is, so I'm explaining it so that you guys ever get it. Alright, there we go. Okay. Alright, so Duffy looked like a giant skate egg case. Gwen tickled her tummy, and Duffy's head darted down to nibble at her wrist. Gwen checked the baby's room and went downstairs. A floorboard creaked as she entered the kitchen. Andrew had paused in the act of emptying the dishwater and was staring out the window of the garden. She went up behind him and threaded her arms under his and held him tightly around the chest, resting her chin on his shoulder. There's nothing we can do, Gwen said. Andrew's head swiveled round on his neck. About Henry, she said, pulling back. Oh, he said. No, I know. They disengaged, and Gwen watched Andrew's back as he continued to empty the dishwater. His shoulders were tense, hunched up. When he finished, he closed the door of the machine with a quiet snap. It's all going to go, you know, all that, he said, looking out the window again. Not our trees, obviously, but everything beyond and the old railway cutting. He turned to her. She didn't know what to say. I mean, I know it's a good thing, he continued, extending the tram system, or at least I thought it would be, but now I'm not so sure. Not now that I think about the ecological cost. All those trees, countless nesting sites. She looked at him without speaking for a moment before saying, I've got to get to work. At the hospital, Gwen sat in the canteen with Angela. How's Henry? Asked Angela. We won't know for a while, Gwen answered. Thanks for asking. Fingers crossed, love. Thanks. What about Andrew? She said. He's under pressure at work, going for a professorship. Ooh, professor, eh? Doesn't have to make him sound wise. Gwen thought for a moment. Andrew's changing, though, she said. Whether in response to Henry or what, I don't know. What you mean? Gwen looked at the fine lines fanning out from the corners of Angela's eyes, which deepened as she smiled. I saw an exhibit at Didsbury Arts Festival, Gwen said. It was that new food shop on Burton Road. There's a bamboo cage hanging from the ceiling with a tiny little screen in it, playing a video of birds filmed in Beijing. Apparently, according to the artist's blurb, Daniel Staincliffe, his name was, old men meet up in the morning to play chess all over... Ha! Chess, not chess, but probably mahjong. All over Beijing, and they take their songbirds with them in little cages. They hang the cages up on the branches of nearby trees while the old men play chess and the birds sing to one another. Ah. Yeah, cute, isn't it? Gwen said. But it made me think of Andrew. He's one of those birds stuck in his cage, tweeting other lonely people trapped in their own cages. Tweeting? Ah, you know, Twitter, Facebook. Waste of time, I know. Something's happening to him. He's changing. We hardly ever talk anymore. I wish he'd raid the savings account and buy a sports car, have an affair. What? Angela laughed. Yeah, all right. Gwen looked at her watch. Better get on, she said. Gwen was standing at the kitchen table, checking through the post. Anything? Said a voice behind her. Christ, she spun around. You made me jump. Creep around so bloody quietly these days. Sorry. Duffy joined them in the kitchen. She's got something, Andrew said, bending down. Duffy opened her jaws and dropped a dead mouse on the wooden floor. Well done, Duffy, Gwen said. That's a good girl. She knelt down to tickle her and stroke her. You make more of a fuss at the cat than you do to me these days, Andrew said. What? 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 Gwen gave him a look and he smiled weakly. Sorry, he said. What is this relationship? Like, she's clearly receptive, but he doesn't seek her out. She doesn't push it. And then he gets mad. This is a divorce waiting to happen. Yeah. Like, I don't know. With Tenchi and I guess if I wanted it, I would just ask for attention. Oh, yeah, we had a good relationship. That's the whole thing. But, like, I don't understand the psychology of this. Like, I act like I've never seen toxicity before. Okay, so my problem is I've seen, like, nuclear fallout, and then I've seen healthy. So when I hit something that's in between, I just don't know what it is. Like, like, that is toxic, but, like, I don't understand. If that's what he wants, then why? Is he just not realizing what he is giving up by, like, I don't know, classic case of broken communication lines? Like, clearly there's not an understanding here. Like, because it sounds like she wants to give him affection. Even in her weird ass, I wish he would buy a sports car and cheat on me sort of way. He's really spacey. Like, he's got a lot on his mind. But then he gets jealous of the cat. And, like, he has opportunity to get that affection. She was offering it. But then he chose not to take it. And then he's pissy that the cat is getting it. I don't think Homeboy knows what he wants. Or if he does, like, he's just not... Like, you're gonna get jealous of the cat? Really? Well, I mean... I say that, but Mooney got jealous of literally anything that moved, so... I guess I shouldn't find it too surprising. Yeah, I don't know. Alright. These days... Gwen gave him a look and he smiled weakly. Sorry, he said. What do you want to eat? She asked him. I don't know. Well, Duffy knows what she wants, don't you, Duffy? She said, as if speaking to a baby. The cat closed her nutcracker jaws around the mouse's head and bit down with a sustained, audible crunch. They both watched as Duffy worked on the mouse, tearing at the skin and cracking its tiny bones. After a short while, the remains of the kitchen floor were no longer identifiable. Gwen wondered if Duffy would leave the guts and the legs and the tiny feet. But she swallowed every last shred, the bristly tail slipping down her throat last of all. Gwen realized she was grimacing. She felt a little sick. Previously, when Duffy brought in birds or mice, either Gwen or Andrew had taken them off her and, if they were still alive and not too badly damaged, freed them outside. Knelt down next to her, Andrew turned his head through 90 degrees to look at Gwen. His black eyes were expressionless. Gwen rose to her feet, knee joints popping. She went to the fridge and got out a plastic container of leftover homemade soup. We'll have this, she said, and pressed the button to open the door of the microwave. She gave a small cry and dropped the container of soup. It landed on its corner, dislodging the lid, and most of the soup splashed out onto her stockinged feet and onto the floor, quickly spreading. What the fuck is that? She shouted, pointing inside the microwave. Ah, sorry, Andrew answered, grabbing a roll of kitchen paper and a couple tea towels and mopping ineffectually at Gwen's feet. That's an owl pellet. What the fuck is an owl pellet? And what is it doing in the microwave? She yelled. I can answer half of that. Owls regurgitate the parts of their prey they can't eat, bones and fur and stuff. It all comes out in a little bundle, all carefully wrapped up like that. It's called an owl pellet. As he explained, Andrew wiped the floor. He filled a tiny bowl with soapy water and started scrubbing. Why is it in the microwave? Oh, because if you want to dissect it, you should sterilize it first, and the best way to do that is in the microwave. Otherwise, the pellet can still be carrying rodent viruses or bacteria. Jesus! Gwen left the room. Owl poop. Essentially, it's oral owl poop, yeah. It's like... Yeah. They just, like, throw it back up. I imagine they still shit, but... I guess they just shit whatever is left over. I don't know. That's actually a good question. Or somehow owl vomit is worse in my mind. It's a bit worse. Do owls poop? Yes, they also regurgitate pellets. Okay. Cool. Thank you. Awesome. There's your bird fact for the day. Dinner that night was a strained affair. Afterwards, they sat at opposite ends of the sofa, watching something on television that neither of them wanted to watch. As soon as it was over, Gwen announced that she was going to bed. "It'll give you a chance to dissect your owl pellet," she said. "Where'd you get it, anyway?" "In the cutting. Climbed over our back wall and had a bit of a look around. It's amazing, it's completely overgrown. There must be so much wildlife there that'll be all left homeless when they clear everything for the tram tracks. It was a railway line in the first place." "I know, but that was 40 or 50 years ago, and an entire ecology has grown up since there. And now it's going to be destroyed for what? So we could take the tram to Chorlton? No one's going to use it to go all the way into town. It's a long and roundabout route. It'll take forever and cost a fortune. They should have had the bottle to take it up Wimslow Road and get rid of all of those awful buses." She looked at him and shrugged in her general agreement with his argument. "I found the owl pellet at the base of one of the trees. There must have been an owl roosting up there." "Right," she said, softening. "See you later. Will you look in on Henry?" "Yes, of course. Good night." Gwen fell asleep straight away. I think both of them are kind of assholes. I don't know. I'm having trouble liking either of them. Like, I understand her frustration. He's not really being fair, but, like, she's also kind of being a dick about it. But I guess if this is going on for a long time, then maybe, like, you kind of just get to a point where you kind of have to be a dick. Gwen fell asleep straight away. Sometime in the night, she was aware of the duvet being lifted. That's British fancy for blanket. On Andrew's side and cold air wafting over her arm. And the draught was shut off, and she felt the warmth of his body next to hers. As she started drifting back to sleep, she heard him softly speak. Oh my fucking god, this guy is an ornithologist in the worst way. It's because of the serrations. It's because of the serrations on my remiges. Okay. Pause. Bird fact time. I hate when people write like this. I don't like it. Because they make you feel stupid. Like, the only reason I know these words is because I'm an ornithologist. A remage is a flight feather. Here we go. They're a whole bunch of flight feathers. Okay? I don't know why this is in French, but cool. Oh, it's because I'm using Bing. God, who the fuck uses Bing? Oh, it's the same shit. Anyway. Here we go. This is from Peter Pyle, the Birdbander's Bible. As a former housekeeper, duvet is actually fancy language for pain in my damn existence. I believe it. Oh, man. Yeah, so the remiges are the primaries and secondaries. And maybe the tertials. It's these long flight feathers. These feathers up here These are the greater coverts. These are the lesser coverts. These feathers basically just cover up the muscle and bone and skin. They're not really involved in flight. These guys are the flight feathers. So, Furious Wolfie typing. Yeah. When he's saying that there are serrations on his remiges, he's saying that there are little cuts in the flight feathers. Now, okay. So, this is an owl's flight feather zoomed in. You see how it looks kind of like a sawtooth knife? This is basically the silencer. So when owls fly, these serrations cut up the noise and basically silence or quiet their flight. I'm blanking on exactly... Okay. Owl flight feathers versus hawk feather. So, you see, this owl feather is... I'm gonna try to zoom in. Okay, that's a bit much. Oh, now I've done and fucked everything. Okay. Here we go. This was a good photograph before I dicked it. Why will you not let me scroll to the side? That's a little mean. As you can see, this is all cut up. This is all, like, serrated. This is a hawk feather. This is smooth. You can run your finger along this and it's just smooth, like a goose feather. Same shit. Hawks make a whoomp, 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 whoomp when they fly. Owls, you can't even hear it. Like, I've had a barred owl fly right by me, and I was just like, oh shit. If I didn't see you, I wouldn't know you were there. That's what he's talking about with the fucking serration of the remiges. Which was probably the most technical, inaccessible way this motherfucker could have said it. Which annoys me. I don't like it when people do that. That is a pet peeve. And I do the same fucking thing. But, like... Remiges? Really? I don't even use that word. Whatever. Alright. It's because of the serrations on my remiges. What? She said, confused and half asleep. No. What was the correct response? What was the number one answer? That's why I move so silently from room to room. You're not a fucking owl, dude. You're just creepy. Go to sleep, Andrew, please. He fell silent. Gwen woke again and felt anxiety's talon seize her immediately. Andrew's side of the bed was cold, empty. She got up and walked onto the landing. The darkness told her it was still nighttime. She checked her watch. It was almost 3 a.m. She opened the door to Henry's room. She saw his blue and white striped baby grow stretched out on the cot. Andrew was not in the room. The door to Andrew's study was open, but he was not inside. Slowly, she descended the staircase and turned at the bottom to stand in the kitchen doorway. Andrew was standing in front of the sink, staring at the window. She took a step forward, and one of the wooden boards creaked. Andrew's head started to turn, and continued to turn. It turned through 90 degrees and kept turning. She stood absolutely still, scarcely breathing. Andrew had not turned his body from the sink, but his gaze was now directed toward the fridge, just to her left. A few seconds, and he would have twisted his neck through 180 degrees. Gwen felt the hairs on her arms rise. She backed out of the room and walked quickly, but quietly upstairs. He became Bird? Yeah. She lay in bed and didn't hear any movement from downstairs. At some point, she fell asleep. In the morning, making the bed, she found a feather on the bottom sheet. She inspected the pillows and plumped them up. Andrew was in the kitchen. They tiptoed around each other. At work, Gwen logged out of the hospital, intranet, and onto the internet. She looked up remages like any sane person would, and typing various spellings until she found the right one. Tiny serrations at the leading edge of the remages help owls to fly silently, she read. Thank you, story, for not defining the word remages, but taking the time to define pellet, which every fourth grader knows. Thank you. Oh, God. This is written so pretentiously. I don't like it. She decided they needed to talk. Yeah. Y'all needed to talk ages ago. When Gwen arrived home, the kitchen was darkness. The light at the top of the stairs was on. She hung up her coat and stowed her bag. She wondered about making a drink and waiting in the kitchen. At some point, he would have to come down, and she would ask him to explain himself. Instead, she found herself walking up the stairs. She was halfway up when she heard him cough. He coughed again, abnormally, as if he was trying to clear his throat. Oh, dude, no. And there was a series of choking sounds. Her brother had once choked on a piece of meat when they were small, and their mother had saved him by performing the Heimlich maneuver, sending a scrap of roast beef shooting out of his mouth, but it had been the choking sound that stayed with Gwen. She was hearing it again now, a desperate, almost metallic squawking, mechanical and animalistic at the same time. She ran up the remaining stairs and stopped at the landing. Andrew was standing in the middle of the bathroom, bent over at the waist. There was a small and distinct bundle on the floor in front of him, and a string of drool hanging from his mouth. The bundle, the pellet, was rounded, tapered at one end, and bristly with hair. Under the brightness of the bathroom light, the whiteness of bone gleamed. Oh, dude. She turned away. On the floor outside the baby's room at the other end of the landing, she saw something she thought she recognized. She took a step toward it. Even in the half-light, she could make out the blue and white stripes. I think he might have eaten the baby. Which makes no sense. This was bad. This was written badly. That's not a trait of owls. They don't eat their own owlets. And like, yeah, we determined that a while ago. I'm disappointed. I went through the trouble of finding an anthology of creepy bird stories, and they seem to all suck. Alright, chat. You know what this means? At least it wasn't porn. I did skip a few lines, but yes, it was not porn. In fact, much to Gwen's disappointment, there was no porn involved. Honest, I'm thankful. Yeah. It could always be worse. Also, I'm just skimming through these, and so much of these are like just people complaining that half their bed is empty. I'm like, why are ornithologists so fucking horny? Dude, it's okay. It's like you put a bunch of ornithologists in a room and said, okay, write spooky stories. You want a burb fact? You want a burb fact. Okay. Did you know? Sorry, Edge. You're good. I'll catch you up in a sec. A wild edge head appears. Did you know that just like a remage is the pretentious word that nobody uses for flight feather, which refers to either the primaries, the secondaries, or the tertiaries. A retrix, plural rectrices, is the fancy-ass word for tail feathers. Now, tail feathers are actually quite important. They assist with steering while in the air. But also, when frightened and trying to escape a predator, birds will sometimes drop their tail feathers and simply fly away with a bare butt. This makes flying a little more difficult, but hey, it beats being dead. Well, if we just read the most disappointing bird spook ever, the only thing that could have made it more disappointing is if there was porn in it. Like, because it wasn't even about owls. It's just some creepy dude who ate his baby, who, like, turns his head like he's in the fucking Exorcist, and throws up hairballs featuring bones and hair. And also walks quiet and thinks about owls too much. Like, there were no birds. And they used the word remage without defining it. Bruh, I had to think for a second to be like, what is that again? Oh. Right. Yeah. I found a whole anthology of, like, spooky bird stories, and I'm, like, scrolling through them. Like, they're not really about birds. They just reference birds. They're like if you put a bunch of pretentious ornithologists in a room and said, all right, write a spooky story. You know what this means? I need to write more spooks with birds. Because I'm apparently one of the only people who knows how to fucking do it. This one's about, like... This one's about a pedophile. There's nothing to do with birds here. Alright, somebody trained a jackdaw in this one. This one's about some dude who does taxidermy on birds. And a dude because... Oh my god. Oh god. I gotta read this to you guys. Hold on. This is a segment from a completely different story that I'm almost offended. To answer your previous question, Steam says my brother's only played 64 minutes, so strong doubt that I've played against him. That's fair. I would have been here sooner, but I literally supported my... I read that wrong the first time. Through an 8-hour Dragon Warrior speedrun. Well done. I read my Dom instead of my friend Dom, and I had a lot of questions very quickly before I reread it and went, that makes a lot more sense for what I know about Edgehead. I'm told those games is good, but I've got my own ridiculous backlog I'm working through. So did I. Dominic. Yes, no, I figured it out. It's all good. It's all good. Okay. The police believe that boy was inducted. I stared at her, trying to read what was in her head. You think I have something to do with that? No, but look at how it seems. People who are well don't carry around dead birds or have crows as pets. They don't show them to young kids. When people are frightened, they look at strangers, at those who don't seem normal. Do I seem normal to you? She brushed the hair back from her forehead. It doesn't matter what I think. It's what others think, and right now they're saying things about you. Because I study birds? Because of your behavior. They stopped my funding, my research. Yeah, no fucking shit they did. You're a lunatic who went off their meds. Also, having, like, domesticated crows and stuff is just awesome. Dead birds, in my opinion, less so. But you also need to have some discretion with that stuff around kids. Crows, though, no discretion around kids. Crows are awesome. Kids should learn to love crows. But that's my 2 cents. But, like, look at this shit. The crow family are the smartest of all birds, smarter than most animals. I'm trying to find ways to communicate that with them, learn their languages. I mean, yes, this is what I am trying to do, too. Languages, she said, bewildered. Birds don't talk. Yes, they do. They talk to each other. Why the fuck would they talk to us? Oh my god. Let me show you something. She followed me outside and made a clicking noise, calling to Blith. I repeated the sound 3-4 times, but he didn't come. Joanne touched my arm. What are you trying to do? Blith, I said. A jackdaw with a secret. He's gone. A secret? Something he's trying to tell me. The noises that birds make, it's not real communication. That's a fucking lie. Yes, it is. In fact, it is communication. But it's communication to other birds. Sometimes to us. But not usually. But yeah, this person's just insane and is using like they're using birds as symbols, like the jackdaw as a symbol. Like, I'm not into that. I want, like, I don't know. I want parrots telling me that, like, the devil is coming. And, like, I don't know. Pastors that are bully crows so turn into a crow and has to defend himself in crow court. Like, I don't want some dude off his meds thinking too much about birds and going insane. That's like, for academics, so far up their own ass. Like, this book was not written for us. And to me, it's just offensive. Ugh. Yeah, that was a big disappointment. Sorry about that, chat. Although I will tell you a story. Let me tell you a story from my own experience. So, last year, I discovered a delightful little nature center with a bunch of hiking trails. And they have in this hiking trail, like near like the education center, they have a bunch of birds that were injured in the wild and they can't be released, so they're just education animals, right? And one of them is an American crow. And, like, he got hurt as a fledgling, so he kind of grew up a dual citizen of the crow world and the people world. And he has specific noises that he makes for different reasons. Like, when people walk up and he's interested in them, he'll imitate what he thinks they usually say, which is like, oh, it's a crow. And he goes, woo, 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 with like this little bowing motion of his head. It's very cute. And then he'll like examine you and hang out with you. The other crows in his enclosure are a little bit more scared of people. They're kind of like, I don't know about you. But to people he particularly likes, or like people who he's kind of adopted into his own little family, he makes a very specific noise. He makes like a that's communication. Because he looks at me when he does it. It's directed toward me. Like, that is a, hey, you're part of the family. How you doing? I missed you. You know? And then I think some crows are just smart and they're like, this noise is fun. But animal communication. Animals don't just make noises for their own health. With the possible exception of purring and cats. Most animal noises are communication. Especially with birds. Do we understand a lot of it? No, not at all. It's why I'm studying catbirds, and it's why I literally have a book called The Language of Crows that's sitting next to my bed, and I keep meaning to read, but I never have time. But recognizing that doesn't make me crazy. I think there's more to bird communication than we realize. And there are a lot of discoveries that suggest that I might be right. Sorry, rant over. My B. I'm running my mouth too much, guys. Y'all gotta tell me to shut the fuck up. What a disappointment. There have been like you talk as much as I want. Thanks, Edge. Yeah, I had an ex. In 2018, I had an ex. Well, he wasn't my ex at the time, unfortunately. And, I was in the height of my research phase for my undergrad project, and I would be excited about it. And I would, talk about it. And his response would always be, you and your damn birds. And over time, I just learned to shut the fuck up. And then Tenchi happened, and he was just like, dude, birds are cool! And I was like, yeah! And it's actually funny, one of the first dates that we went on, like, what I would consider it kind of a date, was I was studying for my ornithology exam, and, Tenchi and I were just looking up birds and, like, looking up bird facts and being like, this bird exists! It sounds like this! It's so cool! And, like, I was the happiest I'd been in a long time. Just Tenchi and I just nerding over birds. And then he started coming to me about, like, things that I didn't even know. But every once in a while, sometimes I wonder if it's just me and my damn birds. Why shit on someone's passion like that? I don't know. He was a dick in so many ways. You know, presumably, Kiwi is Spanish for furry beaked potato. I feel like kiwi is furry baked potato in every language. um, it wouldn't surprise me if it were true though, Edge. But yeah, I don't know. I love what I do. Um, and it just like I don't know. The stories in that book make it like almost like it's fetishizing the birds instead of making them like an actual genuine part of the story. But hey ho, they all read like they were written by like full of themselves intellectuals, so par for the course, I suppose. That's my non-burb fact of the day. Do 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 do. God, I ranted way too long. Might be. Any requests for spooky stories? Did I scare everybody away? The fish in the background of this wallpaper is actually really pretty. It's leaves and fish. God, I got the fucking crow stuck in my head. Yeah, we know Mysidia. You can leave Mysidia. I'm surprised they're still here, but yeah, we do know them. Alright, chat. Challenge me. And I challenge you. Everyone who wants to. And let Chaos know about this. Everyone who wants to owes me a spooky story featuring a bird in time for Halloween. That you can either find one or write one yourself. And that is the quest. Because if these fuckers can't do it, then we're gonna do it ourselves, god damn it. I'm so disappointed. I was so happy when I found an anthology of them. I was like, hey, there's a whole bunch. And then I'm like, oh my god, they all suck. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Homework. Not really homework. You know what I mean. I wouldn't give you homework. Actually, I would. I do that often, actually. Hey, remind me this. Hey, set an alarm for that. I'm such a fucking asshole. I'm sorry. Or would you? I mean, I do. I'm not proud of it. There need to be more Eldritch horror stories about birds. How did I find a book that sucked that bad? Are they all that bad? I don't know how long it is, but could you possibly read The Birds by Daphne du Maurier? Inspired the Alfred Hitchcock film. Yeah, I could. I could do that. I don't know how long it is. If I don't do it today, I'll do it, remind me to do it next week, and if I'm too tired, I'll do it the Saturday after. The book I found was called Black Feathers. Fuck. It may as well be called that. Black Feathers, Dark Avian Tales, an Anthology. Edited by Ellen Datlow, who apparently can't get books right. There's an ebook for the Kindle app that's only $1.99. It looks like it has other spooky stories too. Wait, give me the title. I can probably get it for not that much at all. Daphne du Maurier. Oh, is it called The Birds and Other Stories? Oh, here we go. Yep, just found it. I'm getting it now. Do. Oh, fuck off. I got you, fam. Probably. Fuck you. Why? Why are you being mean to me? Okay. Give me a second here. Are y'all all in EPUB? Alright, hold on. PDF. Let's get serious. Daphne du Maurier Birds. Fancy feet don't fail me now. Fuck. Oh, hey! It didn't. Bird in the tree. Also really short, bit cliche, but perhaps will do. Ooh. Oh, this one's short and sweet. Here, I'll grab that one. And I'm gonna get the birds as well. I found a way to get it. Alright, so So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. This is 32 pages. Alright. We will definitely read it. But next time. Because this is going to be one of those specials. This is going to be one of those specials where I do, like, the Christmas story. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write myself an email. Spooky Story Night. The Birds Reading Friday. Or Sat. Because after 7 hours I might not want to read at all until I'm not as tired. But I will give it the old college try to do it then. But I might have to postpone that story to the Friday after, Saturday after. I do intend to read it though. It looks good. And if it inspired the Alfred Hitchcock movie, then we'll be. I mean, that's a classic. All right. Here is The Bird in the Tree by Paige Sugarbutts. I misspelt the word sugar. I called it sugar for a second. Sugar. Why is it not called sugar? Sugar. 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 Sugar? 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 I don't know. Ooh. Birds in Literature. Well, the Raven is on here. Oh. I mispronounced it, not misspelled it. Oh, wow. I'm just... The birds are used as a warning signal. Ooh. Oh, this is cool. Oh, this is neat. Ooh. Oh, these are cool. Dark Half by Stephen King is also, like... really interesting. Okay. I'll leave this open for food for thought. I think that particular thing is a novel, so that might be too long for me to read on stream. I meant to look into it more since the last spooky stream, but I was training all week and I really wish I wasn't. Yeah, I feel you. Don't worry. Worst comes to worst, we'll write our own. Lord knows I might do it on stream. That actually could be fun. Because I've had a few ideas cooking around my head and that I've written down that I could probably do. But my voice is starting to go. So I think I'll wrap this stream up with what you sent just now, Sassy. And then we shall continue our plotting. Just in time for the spooky month, too. Hee hee hee. Alright. I'll admit it. I get paranoid extremely easily. There's no doubt about that, but now I have more reason than ever to be this way. Since I've always been paranoid easily, I spent a lot of time secluded in my room. I didn't go outdoors much, and I never really hang out with many people. Although sometimes I did have to leave the house, for example, when I had to go to work. I was working only a part-time job, and I wasn't making very much money. I absolutely dreaded work. One day, when I was on my way home from work in the middle of the night, I saw there was a little figure in the tree in front of my house. It was a bird sitting in a tree, watching my every move. It was just a small black bird. I knew it was just a bird and tried not to get paranoid about it. It was just something very strange in the way that it was watching me. I noticed that every night, in fact only at night, I would see the same bird in the same exact spot watching me. It was strange. I even tried to get close to the bird to scare it away, but it just remained there, staring at me. I hated the feeling of being watched, even if it was just a bird. But by morning, it would be gone. I was honestly getting sick of the bird stalking me. Staking me? Stalking me. So I decided to get a cat to scare it away. I actually didn't mind having a cat. It made me feel safe at night, and stroking its fur was extremely soothing. I noticed one night my cat was sitting at the window, staring at the bird. I was pretty happy about this. I was thinking that maybe I would finally be able to get rid of that annoyingly creepy bird. I fell asleep peacefully that night. I woke up the next morning with a good night's rest and realized my cat was no longer staring at the window. I thought maybe my cat actually took care of the damn bird. I looked around my house to see if my cat was covered in the blood of the bird so I could clean the blood off her and give her a treat for her good work. But I couldn't find her anywhere. I looked outside in front of the tree to see if she was there. All I saw was blood, a couple of scratches on the tree that definitely weren't there before. I felt relieved to know the bird couldn't stalk me anymore, but there was no sign of my cat. I was upset when I didn't get to see my cat all day, but I had to go to work. I thought maybe she would show up by the time I would get back. At least that's what I was hoping. When I arrived home, I was horrified to see the bird staring at me in the tree, covered in blood. There's the next part? Oh, the subway. Okay, no, it's the next story. Okay, gotcha. You see, that's what I want. This is what I want. This is what I need. Actually, free burb fact for you. Did you know that wrens, particularly house wrens and Carolina wrens, will actually fall asleep on the inside of people's awnings and, near people's houses, and they'll face away and you'll just see a little bird butt. Here, let me show you. There's bound to be pictures of this on the internet. Oh my god. Reset. Bird butt. 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 Bird butt times 2. Bird butt. Bird butt. Bird butt. Squim! You get the idea. Bird butt. But yeah, they're known to spend the night kind of near people's houses because it's a nice little place to rest. So now I've given you boobs, tits, and butts. And nuthatches. And creepers. Brown creeper. Maybe ornithologists really are just horny. Bird butt. I don't know why that is funny to me, but it is. Alright. I think that's all the energy I have for today. But keep me honest about writing those spooks. You've got it. I still have Quoth Bob right here. Quoth Bob is just sitting there. What did I say the book I had was called? The shitty one? Black Feathers, Dark Avian Tales? By Ellen Dat something. Here, I'll put it in chat. Black Feathers, Dark Avian Tales by edited by Ellen Datlow or something. That's what I thought. Yeah, like, that was all I could find on the sites I was looking for. Like, that was the only anthology. I bet there are more just, like, scattered around places, because I don't think a lot of people thought, hey, let's put all the spooky birds in one place. How the hell does it have almost 5 full stars? I don't know. Well, I do. Intellectuals have really bad taste. Really bad taste. Like, it fucking sucks. Like, they see all this fluty stuff and they're like, ah, yes, it's so autistic and deep. I'm like, I don't fucking care. Give me the spooks. Give me the birds. I don't know. Hold on. Let me read the reviews of this thing. Amazon. Let's fucking... Okay. Avian Tales. No. Conspiratorial. Yeah. I mean, I'm supposed to be one of them. That's the thing. Like, I'm a researcher. I'm supposed to be one of these fluty assholes, but... I'm not. Oh, I know how it only has almost 5 stars. There's only 17 ratings up in this bitch. Memorable birds from fiction and film are now joined by a flock of feathered friends. Many which possess a more literary tone, opting for psychological and subtle terror over blood and gore. Not really. Vastly different ways the terror presents itself. Pervasive our fear of avians truly is. This haunting anthology presents an amazing array of writers, I beg to differ, who use avian tales to touch upon the shadows and light that exist in human lives, whatever. A triumph for this talented editor. These people are just paid to suck her dick, honestly. Predictable waiting towards Corvidae. Whatever. I don't understand. Maybe I just chose badly. Like, should I give this another shot? Here. Alright. Here's what we're gonna do. Y'all in the secret server. I'm gonna give you something real quick. If y'all ever find something in this book that y'all like, tell me to read it during Spooks. I'ma just give it to y'all. trying to read some of it. Some of these are just like not coherent at all. These are like, I don't even know. Like, I feel like these are just written badly. Like, I just read the pigeon one, like, sped read it. And, like, it's not really about the pigeon. The pigeon witnessed an accident and didn't die. And, like, the author is going on about how, like, it should have died. But, like, there's all this human drama that's, like, in the way. It's, like, not. They're, like, being used as literary pieces, which is just, like, alright, but no. Like, that doesn't cut it. You found another, but it's a bit gruesome? Hit me. Also part of a collection. I'm down. A bit gruesome. I mean, we read gruesome here. Apparently, we draw the line at porn, but. We have standards, they're just pretty lax, yeah. Did you send it? Hold on. Yeah, I'm surprised that the literal bird book was as bad as it was. I'm like, what? That. Oh, that's so annoying. Oh, there it is. Okay. Took Discord a minute. Does this work, or is it gonna make me purchase the book? No. Wait. I can get here. Mouthful of birds. Preserves. Uh-oh. Did I go too far? Oh, I didn't even get there. Okay. Mouthful of birds. Hold on. Mouthful of birds. There we go. Oh, god damn it. Alright, hold on. I might actually keep... Okay, hold on. Mouthful of birds. Butterflies. Mouthful of birds. Ayy. Alright, here we go. This is the last one. I turned off the TV and looked out the window. Sylvia's car was parked in front of my house, its emergency lights blinking. As I stood there, wondering if there was any real possibility of not answering the door, the bell rang again. She knew I was home. I went out the door and opened it. Sylvia. Hello, she said, and came inside before I could get another word out. We have to talk. She pointed me to my own sofa, and I obeyed. Because sometimes when the past knocks at the door and treats me like the past 4 years haven't happened, it turns out I'm still a dumbass. You're not gonna like this. It's intense. She looked at her watch. It's about Sarah. It's always about Sarah, I said. He'll just say I'm exaggerating and that I'm crazy and all that. But there's no time today. You're coming home with me right now. You've got to see this with your own eyes. What's wrong? Plus, I told Sarah you were coming, so she's waiting for you. Oh god, she's crazy already. We sat in silence for a moment. I was wondering what the next step would be until she frowned, stood up, and walked to the door. Picked up my coat and followed her out. From the outside of the house, looked the same as always. Lawn newly mown, and Sylvia's azaleas hanging from the second-store balconies. We both got out of our cars and went inside without exchanging a word. Sarah was sitting on the sofa. Although she's finished classes for the year, she was wearing her high school uniform. The way she filled it out. Oh, good lord. No, I'm not reading that sentence. Anyway, she's got a real pair of pedonkas. And just go from there. She was sitting straight up, legs together and her hands on her knees, focusing on some point in the window or out in the yard like she was doing one of her mother's yoga exercises. She'd always been fairly pale and thin, but now she seemed to be brimming with health. Her legs and arms looked stronger, as if she'd been working out for several months. Her hair shone and her cheeks were slightly flushed. Like blush, but real. When she saw me come in, she smiled and said, "Hi, Dad." Although my little girl was really a sweetheart, 2 words were all it took for me to realize something was really off with the kid. And I was sure it had something to do with her mother. Sometimes I think I should have brought her to live with me, but I almost always think otherwise. Not far from the TV, beside the window, there was a cage. It was a bird cage, maybe 1.5 feet tall, that hung from the ceiling, empty. "What's that?" "A cage," Sarah said and smiled. Sylvia motioned me to follow her to the kitchen. We stood by the window, and she checked to make sure Sarah wasn't listening. "Y'all didn't think to have this conversation in the car?" The girl was still sitting bolt upright in the sofa, looking toward the street as if we'd never arrived. Sylvia spoke to me in a low voice. "Look, you're going to have to take this calmly. Come on, Sylvia, stop jerking me around. What's going on?" "I haven't fed her since yesterday." "Are you kidding me?" "So you'll see with your own eyes." "Uh-huh. Are you crazy?" She told me to follow her back to the living room, where she pointed to the sofa. I sat down across from Sarah. Sylvia left the house, and we saw her cross in front of the window and go into the garage. "What's going on with your mom?" Sarah shrugged her shoulders. Her straight black hair was pulled into a ponytail, and she had thick bangs that hung down almost over her eyes. Sylvia returned with a shoebox. She carried it level in both hands as if it held something delicate. She went to the bird cage and opened it, and took from the shoebox a very small sparrow, the size of a golf ball. She put the bird into the cage and closed it. She dropped the box to the floor and kicked it to one side, where it lay with another 9 or 10 similar boxes under the desk. Then Sarah got up, ponytail shining and bouncing, and skipped over to the cage like a little girl 5 years younger. With her back to us, standing on her tippy toes, she opened the cage and took out the bird. I couldn't see what she did. The bird screeched and struggled for a moment, maybe because it was trying to escape. Sylvia covered her mouth with her hand. When Sarah turned back to us, the bird wasn't there anymore. Her mouth, nose, chin, and both hands were smeared with blood. She smiled sheepishly. Her gigantic mouth arched and opened, and her red teeth made me jump to my feet. I ran to the bathroom, locked the door, and vomited into the toilet. I thought Sylvia would follow me and start laying blame and ordering me around from the other side of the door, but she didn't. I rinsed my mouth and my face and stood in front of the mirror, listening. I heard them carry something heavy down the stairs. The front door opened and closed a few times. Sarah asked if she could have the photo that was on the shelf. Sylvia said yes, and her voice was already distant. I came out of the bathroom, trying not to make noise, and I peered around the hallway. And the front door was wide open, and Sylvia was loading the bird cage into the back seat of my car. I took a few steps with the intention of going outside and shouting a few choice things, but Sarah came out of the kitchen and onto the street, and I stopped short so she wouldn't see me. They hugged. Sylvia kissed her and put her in the passenger seat. I waited till she'd come back inside and closed the door. "What the hell?" "You're taking her." She went to the desk and started to flatten and fold the empty boxes. "My God, Sylvia, your daughter eats birds." "I can't do it anymore." "She eats birds. Have you taken her to the doctor? What the hell does she do with the bones?" Sylvia stood looking at me, disconcerted. "Guess she swallows them too. I don't know if the birds," she said, and she started looking at me. "I can't take her. One more day with her and I'll kill her myself. I'll kill her and then I'll kill myself. She eats birds." Sylvia went into the bathroom and locked the door. I looked through the picture window. Sarah waved happily to me from the car. I tried to calm down. I tried to come up with something that would help me take a few stumbling steps toward the door, praying that the time it took to reach it, I would go back to being an ordinary man, fastidious and organized guy who was capable of spending 10 minutes in front of a shelf full of cans in the supermarket, making sure the peas he's buying are really the most suitable ones. Oh god, I relate to this guy a little bit too much. I thought about how considering that people who eat people eating live birds wasn't so bad. Also, from a natural point of view, is healthier than drugs, and from a social one, it was easier to hide than a pregnancy at 13. But I'm pretty sure that until I reached the car door handle, I went on thinking, she eats birds. She eats birds. She eats birds, on and on. I brought Sarah home. She didn't say anything on the way. When we got there, she unloaded her things by herself. Her bird cage, her suitcase, which she and her mother had loaded into the trunk, and 4 shoe boxes like the one Sylvia had brought from the garage. I couldn't bring myself to help her. Opened the front door, and I waited there while she came in and went with everything. After I told her she could use the upstairs bedroom, and waited a few minutes while she settled in, I had her come down and sit across from me at the dining table. I fixed 2 cups of coffee. Sarah pushed hers to the side and said she didn't drink anything brewed. You eat birds, Sarah? Yes, Dad. She bit her lips, ashamed, and said, You do too. You eat live birds, Sarah? Yes, Dad. I remember Sarah at 5 years old sitting at the table with us and fanatically devouring a squash. And I thought we would find a way to resolve this problem. But when the Sarah I had in front of me smiled again, I wondered what it would be like to have a mouthful of something all feathers and feet, to swallow something warm and moving. I covered my mouth with my hand the way Sylvia had done earlier. I left Sarah alone before 2 untouched cups of coffee. 3 days passed. Sarah spent almost all of her time in the living room, upright on the sofa with her legs pressed together and her hands on her knees. I left early for work and endured the hours of searching the internet for infinite combination of words like bird, raw, cure, adoption, knowing that she was still sitting there looking out at the yard for hours on end. When I came back to the house around 7 and saw her, just as I pictured her throughout the day, hair stood up on the back of my neck. And I felt like leaving and locking her in, hermetically sealed, like those insects I'd hunted down when I was little and kept in glass jars until I ran out. What could I do it? When I was little, I went to the circus once. I saw a bearded woman who put live rats in her mouth. She held one there for a while, its tail wriggling beneath her closed lips while she paraded before the audience, smiling. Her eyes turned upward as if it gave her some great pleasure. Now I thought about that woman almost every night as I tossed and turned, unable to sleep, mulling over the possibility of checking Sarah into a psychiatric hospital. Maybe I could visit her once or twice a week. Sarah and I could take turns. I thought about those cases when the doctors recommended the patient be isolated, keeping him away from the family a few months. Maybe it'd be a good option for everyone, but I wasn't sure Sarah could survive in a place like that. Or could she? In any case, her mother wouldn't allow it. Would she? I couldn't decide. On the 4th day, Sylvia came to see us. She brought 5 shoe boxes that she left just inside the front door. Neither of us said a word about them. She asked where Sarah was, and I pointed her to the bedroom upstairs. Later, she came back down alone. I offered her coffee. She drank in the living room in silence. She was pale, at times her hands shook and made the cup rattle in the saucer. We both knew what the other was thinking. I could have said, "This is your fault. This is what you brought to us," and she could have said something absurd like, "This is happening because you never paid attention to her." But the truth is, we were both very tired. "I'll take care of that," Silva said before she left, pointing to the shoe boxes she brought. I didn't say anything, but I was deeply grateful. In the supermarket, people loaded up their carts with cereal boxes, sweets, vegetables, and dairy products. I stuck with my canned foods and waited patiently in the checkout line. I went to the supermarket 2 or 3 times a week. Sometimes, even if I had nothing to buy, I still stopped there on my way home. took a cart and walked through the aisles thinking about what I could be forgetting. At night we watched TV together. Sarah sat upright in the corner of the couch and I sat on the other end, sneaking a look every once in a while to see if she was following the show or if she had her eyes glued on the art again. I fixed food for us both and brought it to the living room on 2 trays. I put Sarah's down in front of her, and that's where it stayed. She waited for me to start eating and then said, "Excuse me, Dad." As she'd stand up, go to her room, and gently close the door. First time I turned on the TV and waited in silence. There was a brief, sharp shriek. A few seconds later, I heard the pipes in the bathroom, the water running. Sometimes she came down a little while, serene, her hair perfectly combed. Other times she showered and came down in pajamas. Sarah didn't want to go out. Studying her behavior, I thought she was suffering from the beginning of agoraphobia. Sometimes I took a chair out the yard and tried to convince her to come outside for a while, but it was no use. Even so, her complexion continued to radiate energy, and she looked more and more beautiful as she spent the days exercising in the sun. As if she spent her days exercising in the sun. Every once in a while, as I went about my business, I found a feather on the floor beside the door, behind the coffee can, among the silverware, or in the bathroom sink, still wet. I'd pick it up, taking care that she didn't see me do it, and flush it down the toilet. Sometimes I stood watching the water carry it down. Sometimes the water filled up again, the water grew calm and mirror-like once more. And I was still there looking, wondering if it was necessary to go back to the supermarket, if it was really worth it to fill the carts with so much garbage, and thinking about Sarah and what could be out there out in the yard. One afternoon, Sylvia called to let me know she was in bed with a vicious flu. She said she couldn't come visit us. She asked if I could manage without her. I said if she had a fever, if she was eating enough, she'd been to the doctor. And when I had her busy enough with her answers, I told her I had to hang up. And I did. The phone rang again, but I didn't answer. We watched TV. When I brought my food, Sarah didn't get up to go to her room. She concentrated on the yard until I finished eating, and then looked back at the TV show. The next day, I stopped at the supermarket before going home. I put the few things in my cart, the same things as always. I wandered the aisles as if I was doing a few reconnaissance at the store. Stopped at the pet section where there was food for dogs, cats, rabbits, birds, and fish. I picked up some of the items and examined them more closely. I read their ingredients, how many calories they provided, and the amounts recommended for each breed, weight, and age. I went to the gardening section. There were only plants with and without flowers, and flower pots and dirt, so I went back to the pet section and stood there thinking about what to do next. Other shoppers filled their carts and steered around me. Loudspeaker announced a sale on dairy products in honor of Mother's Day. A little weird, but alright. And then played a song about a guy who had all kinds of women but longed for his first love until I finally pushed the cart back to the canned goods section. There could be so many different songs. That night it took Sarah a while to fall asleep. My room was below hers and I could hear her pace nervously above me. Get into bed, then get out again. I wondered what condition the room was in. I hadn't gone up since she arrived. Maybe the place was a real disaster. A barnyard full of muck and feathers. Third night after Sylvia's call before I went home, I stopped to look in the bird cages hanging in the pet store's awning. None of the birds looked like the sparrow I'd seen at Sylvia's house. They were all brightly colored and, in general, a little bigger. I stood there for a while until a salesman came over to ask me if I was interested in any of the birds. I said no, absolutely not. That I was just looking. He stayed nearby, moving boxes around and looking toward the street. Then he realized I really wasn't going to buy anything, and he went back to the corner. At home, Sarah was waiting on the sofa, upright in her yoga position. We greeted each other. Hi, Sarah. Hey, Dad. Her rosy cheeks were fading. She didn't look as healthy as she'd been on the previous days. I made my food, sat on the sofa, and turned on the TV. After a while, Sarah said, Daddy? I swallowed what I was chewing and turned down the volume of the TV. Unsure whether she'd really spoken, but there she was, legs pressed together and her hands on her knees, looking at me. What? Do you love me? I made a movement with my hand and accompanied it with a nod. The whole gesture together meant yes, of course. She was my daughter, right? And just in case, thinking mostly about what my ex-wife would have considered appropriate, I said, yes, sweetheart, of course. And then Sarah smiled and looked at the art for the rest of the TV show. We sweat badly again. Sarah paced in her room end to end, me tossing and turning in bed until it finally drifted off. Next day I called Sylvia. It was Saturday, but she didn't answer the phone. Called back later, again around noon. Left a message. Sarah spent the whole morning sitting on the sofa looking out at the yard. Her hair was a little disheveled, and she wasn't sitting up straight anymore. She looked very tired. I asked her if she was alright, and she said, Yes, Dad. Why don't you go out to the yard for a while? No, Dad. Thinking of our conversation the night before, it occurred to me that to ask if she loved me, but right away that struck me as pure stupidity. I called Sylvia again and left another message in a low voice, making sure Sarah couldn't hear me. I said to her voicemail, It's urgent, please. We waited, each one of us at the end of the sofa, with the TV on. A few hours later, Sarah said, Excuse me, Dad. She went to her room and closed the door. I turned off the TV so I could hear better. Sarah didn't make a noise. I decided I'd call Sylvia one more time. Picked up the receiver, but when I heard the dial tone, I hung up. I drove the car to the pet store, looked for a salesperson, and told him I needed a small bird, the smallest he had. The salesperson opened a catalog with photographs and said the prices and food varied from one species to the next. Do you like exotic pets, or do you prefer more household ones? I pounded the counter with my open palm. Everything displayed on the counter jumped. The clerk was silent, looking at me. I pointed to a small dark bird that was moving nervously from one side of the cage to the other. They charged me 120 pesos. Oh, pesos! And gave it to me in the square green cardboard box with little holes poked through it on the lid. A pamphlet from the breeder with a photo of the bird. He also tried to give me a free bag of bird seed, but I turned it down. When I got home, Sarah was still in her room. For the first time she'd been in the house, I went upstairs and opened the door. She was sitting on the bed across from the open window. She looked at me. Neither of us said anything. She was so pale she looked sick. The room was clean and neat, the door to the bathroom ajar. There were some dirty shoe boxes in a neat pile on the desk, but flattened so they didn't take up so much space. The cage hung empty near the window. On the night table next to the lamp was the framed photo she brought from her mother's house. The bird moved and the feet scratched the cardboard, but Sarah stayed still. The bird. I placed the box on the desk, and without a word I left the room and closed the door. Then I realized I didn't feel very good. I leaned against the wall to rest a moment. I looked at the breeder's pamphlet, which was still in my hand. On the back was information on how to care for the bird and about its reproduction cycles. They emphasized the species needed to be in pairs during warm months and things one could do to make the years in captivity as pleasant as possible. I heard a brief shriek, and the bathroom sink turned on. When the water started running, I felt a little better, and I knew that somehow I'd make it down the stairs. Why didn't you call a doctor? Reddit! Oh, the golden thing of Reddit. Wait, I didn't realize you could... You can search individual Reddits? Oh, shit. Well, we'll definitely be looking into that next time. My voice is dying. Is that Jim? So, I'm gonna quit while I can still rasp. This is almost a 3-hour stream. Well done, people. But thank you so much, Sassy, for all of the bird stories. And there will be more next week. Either a week from today or 8 days from today. But, in the meantime, do not eat or drink any questionable substances. Make smart decisions. Do not die. Pardon. Dying is absolutely forbidden. And I will see all of you wonderful people at a later time. Take care, guys. Spooks! Hee hee hee.